currently finishing a doctorate in educational leadership at the University of Kentucky, and there are so many different things that I'm processing, thinking about, studying, learning, and I realize that I'm called to the educational world. I've been in the university setting for about 13 years. I've taught at 4 different universities. I'm experiencing private school education with my oldest son, and then I'm experiencing homeschooling with my middle son and my daughter. We're kind of working through that. So I give all that context to really think about, these are some of the things I process, think through, because there's so many different contexts that education happens. And then I also have immigrant parents from Western Africa that come under a British educational system. And so there was an influence that came with growing up in America with having British influenced or British educated parents. What's the heart of education? What is this thing that we talk about and emphasize and go through the process of really doing? These systems, what are we trying to do? And I think some of it at core, ancient thoughts are drawing out, and some even in putting in habits and manners and traditions and ways. In other words, a word picture I'll use is that it becomes a conduit to pass on culture. So when we see it on the mass scale, we see government education. When we think on a minor scale, though, on a more micro scale, we think about parents trying to train disciplines and habits, trying to train religious values, train ways of doing, ways to survive in life, but also drawing out. And this is where I want to sort of start landing the plane. To begin to ask the question of, is true education about drawing out what's inside of a person? Training them in other things so that they can survive in their culture, their context, but to draw out what's inside, to say there's natural talents and habits and patterns and ways that this child, a person functions, and how we now create an environment that they can excel, as opposed to try to create an environment where they are not excelling, or they're wrestling, or they're having challenges. What if we created environments where we think about them excelling and finding the fit and the niche for that particular student, learner, so that they can excel throughout life, knowing that what's inside of them is being educated, being drawn out, being cultivated, being watered, being seeded, being planted. Food for thought for today, because there's a lot to this educational system and this educational way, a lot of challenges that we go through with education, a lot of discussion, a lot of money, a lot of politics, but I really want us to think about, should it really be about drawing out? Should the fathers and the parents really be involved more in the process, and should they be the chief educators in teaching them how to survive culture, as opposed to handing them over to the ways and the patterns of the system and the culture? Again, food for thought. Hope you're well. Take care. Talk to you soon.